Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Dive Into Diet. I'm with the star of the show, Lucas Schmidt. Lucas, what's up, man?
We have to balance some things today.
We need balance in our lives.
We need balance in our lives.
We've got to get some balance.
Yes, and I mean it in the physical sense today.
How do we do it?
Well, first you need to know. I guess you don't need to know. You can always be training balance. This is a physical episode, so we're feasting on knowledge today, not food.
Yep.
You want to know how good your balance is, I suppose. The easiest way to do that with low risk is a good starting point is to just do a little balance check of yourself. And what that consists of is we'll show footage of me later doing it, or maybe it'll play around me while I'm talking right now. But you'll stand up, standard stand up, feet about shoulder width, maybe a little closer. You can always have something like a counter to reach for if you lose your balance. And you just want to pick up one foot. You don't want to lean. You don't want to tuck the foot behind your ankle. You just want it, if your feet are next to each other, you're picking up the foot an inch off the floor. And you want to try to stay there as long as you can.
So like go till...
I mean, I would put on a stopwatch for a minute.
Okay.
And you want to be touching your toe to the floor as little as possible, meaning touching the foot you're trying to rebalance. You should be able to hover there for at least a minute.
Is that harder than I think it is?
It is much harder than you think it is.
Really?
Picking your foot up an inch without doing all that, you'd be surprised. And even people who are capable, the longer you hold it, they go, ooh, my butt's burning, like the butt on the leg that's balancing. It goes right up to your glute. It'll highlight areas in your hip. Maybe you're not as strong as you think you should be.
Yep.
That's the first step. If your balance is terrible, okay, and you don't have any underlying health conditions that we don't, ruling those things out, you may just need to train certain muscles and certain functions. And the ways you can do that, there's a lot of ways to train balance. But what muscles would I target if my balance was poor? I would target my tibialis anterior, which is front of the shin. Oh, that was my phone. You target the front of your shin. And there is a video that me and Andy shot a while back, a quick detailing exercise that targets that.
Okay.
You should be able to squat flat-footed as well. Your heels shouldn't have to come up with the floor. You should be able to squat all the way to the floor on your butt without your heels coming up. That's playing into balance, but also anterior tibialis strength. So that's a muscle I would train. How do you do that? Well, there's a video. We'll probably link it with a description there. In short, I would do what's called a tibialis raise, which the video describes. The other things I would train would be there could be some instability in the knee or some lack of muscular strength. Instability doesn't always mean, I've torn something. No, it just could mean weakness. And one thing you can try as well to build that is when you go to sit down in a chair, instead of plopping into your seat and falling, try to sit down slowly. Just that alone will fire some muscles. You want to control how quickly you sit. It's also better. Good point. It's also better for the chair. Better all around. And the other thing is getting up slowly. You should be able to get up slowly out of a chair. You should be able to sit forward. My head's gonna disappear. Sit forward and just stand up. And then when you sit down, notice I'm just slowly sitting down. You should have the control to do that. And if you don't, start practicing that. That's an exercise in its own. Yeah. Once you're easy with that and you're like, I still want to get stronger in my legs and more coordinated, try getting out of your chair with one leg. So you rest a heel on the floor in front of you and then maybe tuck the standing leg a little bit back so you've got more center of gravity, and stand up on one leg. Huh. And sit down the same way and alternate legs, of course. You don't want to walk funny. So that's a way to graduate up a little bit from the slow standing. So you got slow standing, one-legged standing and sitting. And then you can lift your heel off the floor completely so it's completely one-legged. That is pretty challenging. Those are things you can build into your routine because we all stand and sit throughout the day. I'm not even saying you have to start with a full routine, not like 10 sit-ups, right? 10 stand-ups.
Just building it into your day.
Just build it into when you get up. Be mindful about that. Yeah. That alone will start stimulating some revamping maybe of your musculature in your legs. So training the shins, the anterior tibialis, developing control in your knees and your quads as you descend and ascend from seated to standing. Those are starting points. Yeah. Activities that I would recommend if you want to if some people are like, you know what, it's hard for me to be mindful all day about that stuff, I need a class to go to. Yoga's a good start. It teaches balance in its own way. Another really nice one is Tai Chi. I do Tai Chi.
Interesting.
Tai Chi is fun. Tai Chi is, depending on what form of Tai Chi, can be very challenging for the legs.
Yep.
A lot of endurance if you do it properly. But the lighter Tai Chi is still excellent for balance because Tai Chi is all about weight transfer and controlled weight transfer. So maybe we'll do a video and I'll teach you how to walk a Tai Chi walk.
I love that.
How to walk in slow motion. Moving in slow motion requires control in general.
Absolutely. And balance.
And balance. It requires a lot of focus and oddly relaxation at the same time.
Yeah.
So those are activities, though. If you're like looking for an instructor or class, look up yoga or Tai Chi. That's a great outlet. Okay, it's an art form of balance training. But if you want the more practical, strengthen the shins, control your descent into chairs and ascent, and then switch to one legs. So those are good ways to improve it.
I love it. Balance.
So, balance.
Balance is important.
And then after months of that, try the balance test again and see how long you go.
Yeah. Aiming for a minute on each side.
Yeah, let's start with a minute.
Cool.
That's what I aim for.
Lucas, thanks, man.
Thank you.
Guys, thank y'all for hanging out. As always, we will link that video with Andy below so you guys can learn how to strengthen your what?
Tibialis anterior.
Tibialis anterior.
Front of the shin.
There we go. See you guys next time.
Don't go away.